Welcome again to our evening meditation. This plan for today is to have a discussion on forgiveness, and we will practice. That's more important. And then we will do meditation on twin hearts. But again, this is a discussion, and as you know, last week I think we finished first round of covering character building from the five virtues perspective, and we will continue on the same theme, but we'll take different perspectives in the next coming week. So. Well, no prizes for guessing, but we're talking about forgiveness, so we are kind of back to loving kindness and non-injury and see how do we take it. But we'll try and cover things from different perspective and break them down a bit. The book that we are referring to today, everything that we're discussing in this session is based on the teachings of Master Choa Kok-Sui. Everybody here knows it. The book that we are using is the Lotus Sutra, Golden Lotus Sutras on life. It's called Experiencing Being. Again, for those of you who are not familiar with these books, these are quotations from various lectures that Master Chua conducted over a period of 10 to 12 years. And they have been compiled into these little books on different topics. There are six of these. We have been talking about character building from a different book, which was Compassion, Objectivity. But now we are switching to Experience Being today. That's the only book we are going to use today. About 2 or 3 pages, and that tells you how much information is packed into this. And based on last week's discussion of moderation and non-excessiveness, I'm going to try and not be excessive with this discussion and move on to Gail is already laughing. She trusts on what's going to happen. So we'll see. Okay, let's talk about this. So I am on page 15. If anybody has this book, I'm just going to go back. There's a whole chapter on forgiveness, which is what I want to start with. And it starts with the first sentence, and this is something that puts a lot of people, including myself, at ease, that forgiveness is not a matter of what is right or wrong, or who is right or wrong. It is a matter of doing the right thing. So, kind of a mic drop thing, that it's not about figuring out what is right, what is not right, because a lot of people want to practice forgiveness, and we'll talk about why we should practice it, and then today we'll get into how to practice it, and I want to have a longer discussion on that. We will not cover some of the other aspects. For those of you who refer to the website of British Pranic Healing, you'll find a video there specifically on forgiveness, something that I think we did a few months ago. I thought I'm gonna listen to that and try and bring different perspectives, but I'll confess it's really uncomfortable listening to myself, so I couldn't do it. But you guys can feel free to go back, listen to that, and compare and see how things stand. So the first thing, uh, let's cover why anybody should bother, right? I mean, we covered the what part of it, but let's get the obvious part of it. Forgiveness, in simple terms, means behave. Once you forgive a person or a group of people, the expectation would be to react, behave, if you see them again, in a manner which does not reflect the hurt or pain that you suffered because of the people or circumstances. So it comes back to the neutral position, right? And this is something to think about of how do you get there. Forgiveness is not about putting a smiling face in front of other people when internally we are like, you again. So that is something to keep in mind. And it can be defined in very different terms, but I think we all understand the gist of what forgiveness really means. That you, when you encounter the same person or same set of people again, your behavior is not influenced by the hurt or pain that you carried in the past, right? And I'm very careful with that. It's not about not having the memory of it. It's just about it not controlling you. That is the important part of it. Uh, Master Choa in his books has hardly ever, and I'm kind of hedging because I haven't come across ever with the concept of forgive and forget. The forget part is not there. And I think that is very, very important for us to understand, because what we are talking about is an active, conscious exercise of forgiving. And that includes a lot of mental industriousness, thinking about it, analyzing it. We keep going back towards accurate perception, which is careful observation plus correct interpretation. So that is important in everything that we do. So, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But why do we actually practice? Why should we practice forgiveness? Let's read from the book again. Compassion means to forgive. Inner forgive. The reason young people look so pretty is that they have not been scarred by life. You must learn to forgive, or you will dry up like dead wood. It's a bit extreme, but in very simple terms, one good reason to forgive is for health and beauty. And not a lot of people think about that, but uh, there you go, a very important one, right? The moment somebody says forgive, you immediately associate that with that, forgiveness is the secret to happiness, or what else do people say? Forgive for inner peace. But I'm very glad that Master Cho starts with, if you want to look pretty and young and beautiful, you better forgive. I think we can all kind of get on board with that. Okay, that's number one. Your spiritual development depends on your ability to forgive others. Your ability to fly in the inner world depends on inner forgiveness. Uh, Now, again, keep this in mind. Not a lot of people are interested in spiritual development. They do not have any inclination of understanding what inner world is, whether it exists or not. So, for those people, take it with a pinch of salt. But for the ones who are practicing meditation, any kind of meditation exercise, it need not be twin hearts meditation or any meditation taught by Master Choa, say, but any kind of spiritual practice or meditation or prayers, uh, you will find that the ability to do that is significantly higher if you're able to practice forgiveness. And there's a lot of energetic reasons around that, because once we are forgiving, when we are actively practicing the act of forgiveness, we are letting go of certain energies which are blocking our system, and we allow a much more free flow of energy within our system. A lot more spiritual or divine energy can enter our system, and that makes the experience of meditation, prayer, spiritual development, whichever way you look at it, much more pronounced. And that is the gist of it. So again, I'm quite aware of the fact that not everybody is interested in spiritual development. There was a long period of time when I couldn't be bothered. So I completely understand where people stand on that. But here's another good reason. If in doubt, go back to reason number one, health and beauty. That's a good reason to get on board with, anyways. Okay. The other thing I've noted something from these books as well is inner peace and freedom. We talked about that on why I do that. The other thing which Master Choa has actually, again, put in this book on anger and criticism. Frequent anger brings bad luck. Use your head and minimize anger. The purpose is not to suppress emotion, but to regulate them. When you remain calm, you are ready to focus on your target. In simple terms, when we are upset with something, when we are upset with somebody, and we are constantly thinking about that in a loop, that takes up our mental bandwidth. In very simple terms, that's what's dominating your mind. So anything good and healthy, maybe good practices for yourself, for your family. Maybe you want to focus on your projects. Maybe you want to make more money. Maybe you want to do something creative. Maybe you want to cook something. Maybe you go out on a holiday and you want to enjoy where you are. But if you are stuck in thoughts of anger and resentment towards a person or a set of people, then you would notice that it is difficult to actually put all your energy into those good things. I'm sure this is something we have all experienced, that you're probably at a beautiful place, maybe on a mountain, maybe on a beachside, watching a movie, play something, whatever interests you, but you're upset at something. And you realize 10 minutes, 15 minutes have passed, and you have missed the whole experience that you were trying to have because you were upset about something or somebody who has absolutely no idea that you're actually thinking about them right now. They're probably having a great time somewhere else in the world, but you're stuck in that one place where you're sitting and thinking about it. And I remember I once went for a play, lovely play, and it was a 1 hour play. I missed 20 minutes of it because I was thinking about something else. And when I came back, I'm like, what am I doing? I just paid like 50 quid to be here, have this experience. And what am I doing? Thinking about something that happened last week about some person who I'm not even going to see for some time. And it felt silly. But it wasn't the first time it happened to me. I'm pretty sure it's not the last time. The idea is to catch ourselves. So another reason to practice forgiveness is to enjoy our life, live a wholesome life, be present, and be with our family, friends fully instead of you did that. How do I get back to you? You should not have done that. I deserve better. All that chain of thoughts which keeps running again and again and again, that needs to be avoided. So those are some of the reasons why forgiveness is a good idea. Uh, if time permits, not this week, maybe in subsequent weeks when we have a longer discussion on loving kindness towards others, we'll talk about this. The but before we do, one final thing is something to catch ourselves that there are a lot of times the ones who need forgiveness from us is ourselves. We can be extremely hard with ourselves, uh, and it's very easy to be angry with ourselves because there is nobody's going to come and say, oh, there's no relationship to manage. It's just you. Um, there is no blame that you can attach to another person. It is again you. And accusing oneself, blaming oneself, criticizing oneself can be a wonderful pastime for a lot of people. You may look at your output, you may look up what you did, what you did not do, and focus on what you should have done. Why did I not do this? Why did I act this way? Why did I act that way? Those things can dominate your thoughts. And those regrets, anger towards oneself can really build over time. And so the first person to forgive before you forgive anybody else is yourself. If you need to practice that, you practice that. We are going to discuss three different ways of how we can actively practice forgiveness. And I just wanted to bring everybody's attention that if you need to practice all the three things on yourself as well, it works. It is difficult. It might require you to stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself, or imagine yourself in front of you and try and do the exercise because, as I said, these are active exercises. These are not about, okay, I want to forgive. I want to forgive. No, we'll talk about how to forgive. So, so yeah, so keep that in mind. If somebody thinks, and naively, I have done this, that I thought I've been practicing meditation on Twin Hearts for a very long time. There's so much love and affection and peace in my system that I'm not experiencing anger and I have no anger. And there's nothing to forgive. There's nobody to forgive. Life is beautiful. I'm going through a wonderful phase. Very, very naive. But if anyone here is going through that phase right now, enjoy it. I'm not trying to put you down. It's nice. Uh, but sooner or later, you'll find something. So one good pointer at that on in moments like this, and who can you practice forgiveness for, is to observe who is it that you're criticizing constantly in your mind, verbally, most of the times in your mind. Whoever you're criticizing in and more than you think you should be, or well, forget the more than you can. Whoever you're criticizing, that is the person you need to forgive. So if you're criticizing yourself, you can practice these techniques to them, to yourself. If others, then you know who to go with. Because as Master Teacher used to say, the fruits will kind of reveal the seeds. So the fruit of anger is criticism. So if you believe you do not have any anger, resentment towards somebody, just have a look. Most of the time, the culprits are inside your home. They might be in the next door doing something. So keep that in mind. Again, as I said, today I wanted to focus a lot more on how to do it and not the when and why of it. Sorry, why and how of it. So we'll proceed with that. Unless anybody has any questions or anybody wants to share anything, give me a break so I can have some water. Either you guys are not listening or you genuinely have nothing to say. So either ways, we're going to move forward. So let's talk about consciously practicing forgiveness. When I say consciously, it's an attempt that needs to be made. And sometimes this can be a painful exercise because it forces you to confront what made you upset. It sometimes forces you to go back and analyze that. Because the first step in everything that we do here is in a reflection. We need to go back to the event, which could have been a bit hurtful for us, traumatizing in some cases, and and talk about how to address that. Some of us, most of us are blessed that when we think about forgiveness, we encounter petty things in life, things which from a 30,000 feet view don't seem very significant. But there are people in the world who have gone through some real traumas, tragedies, and to ask them to practice forgiveness is can be extremely difficult. So when we get into that kind of a thing, we have to remind ourselves that what we are talking when we talk about forgiveness, we are not talking about forgetting something or justifying what happened and making peace with that. So I'll read this again from the book. Compassion means to forget, to forgive. There is both inner forgiveness and outer forgiveness. Inner forgiveness is for all people, but outer forgiveness should be done on a case-to-case basis. If mistakes or crime is serious, the offender cannot be forgiven externally. There has to be justice and order, without which there will be chaos. And this, to me, is one of the most important lessons that we can learn from the teachings of Master Cha, is the difference between inner forgiveness and outer forgiveness. Because at no point are we condoning bad behavior. At no point are we condoning crimes which are significantly bad, right? Because inner forgiveness, and maybe let's spend a minute or two on that. Very simple concepts, right? Inner forgiveness is for us. Inner forgiveness is for us to have peace, for us to let go of the hurt so that it does not affect the way we live our lives. It has nothing to do with the other person. Think of the worst thing a person can do. That person, that thing still has to be forgiven internally. Why? Because it is for our peace. What is our peace? Our peace, our inner healing, our spiritual development, our prosperity, success, attracting the right things in our life. And what else did we cover? Of course, yes, health and beauty. So for all of this, this is why we want to forgive, right? Externally, it's on case-to-case basis. Um, I think I talked about this last time as well. I read this quote somewhere. I don't remember who it is from, but they said, "Look, we need to act as the CEO of our lives. Accept everybody as they are, but you place them in your life the way you need to." Which means you have every right to hire and fire people from your own life. I forgive you, but thank you. Let's not interact again. We're done. You stay out. You know, if it's with close members, have the difficult conversations, draw boundaries, act that way. That is there. What I'm talking about today is inner forgiveness, not external forgiveness. External forgiveness, we all have to take a call on what is the right thing to do, what is the right behavior, and then we go ahead and do that. So keep that in mind. Whenever in conflict, this person does not deserve to be forgiven. How can I do that? Nobody's asking to forgive and forget. We are talking about inner forgiveness for our own peace so that the hurt, pain, suffering stops for us. The other person, God bless him, not worried about him right now. Okay. All right. With that in mind, three things, three techniques, active techniques to practice forgiveness. Number one, the simplest one is to do namaste. So we have learned in this in our class, and we can all do that. If the ones on video, use your hands. Please do it with me. What exactly is namaste? Important to understand. Uh, Unfortunately, this greeting has become super casual in every part of the world. So, of course, I'm an Indian, so this comes from my culture, uh, but we don't use it the way it was supposed to be used. For us, this is in Hindi, it is simply a synonym for hi, hello. You can do namaste. It's a bit more respectful. But if you do namaste, you'll get a namaste back. That's it. In Western cultures, this has become part of yoga studios. So whenever you go for a yoga class, you will a lot of times see people doing namaste, which is, I mean, it's a good thing, but they have no idea what's happening. So this is one way of practicing forgiveness, what you essentially do is you imagine the person standing in front of you. If the person is in front of you, and if the person is you, uh, this is the mirror exercise. If you can stand it, it's not that easy. So imagine the person in front of you, look into their eyes. We look into their eyes because eyes are, as Master Cho says in his books, the windows of the soul and to the soul. So both ways. You look at that person, imagine that you're staring right deep into his eyes or her eyes. Nothing romantic there. Um, and you say namaste. And you say this multiple times. You can say this 18 times. That's the count I've heard. I was looking in the book. I cannot find a count in the books, but I have been taught 18 times. I've also been taught 21 times. Okay. So let's do this exercise. Think of one person who has upset you. Think of somebody who you need to forgive. Okay. Imagine that person right in front of you. Look into their eyes and say, Namaste, 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 Namaste. Right. Just give yourself a second. Come back. Now, in very simple terms, this means I salute the divinity in you. That's the most simplest explanation that we can use. There is the details in terms of posture, positioning, and everything. We won't discuss the details, but you should be aware of the positioning. When we do namaste, we need to make sure that the back of our thumbs are touching the palm. All the fingers are closed, not open. They're pointing up, and the thumb is touching the middle of your chest here, and the palm is closed. Right? Uh, that's it. No gaps, no nothing. And there are energy concepts involved here, but we can all get on board with this bit. Preferably don't have your elbows flared out. This is a mistake which some people do. Let them drop. The other mistake that commonly people do is the hands drop down to, well, let's say 6 inches below the heart. You know, for those of us who have done pranic healing, we know that I'm essentially talking about the hands drop from the heart center to the solar plexus center. Different energy center, different purpose, not what we're trying to achieve here. So just this. Okay. And this is, how do I put it? Okay, let's say it as it is. This is a very effective way of doing it when you're really upset at something or somebody, because you don't have to think too much. You don't have to recall the whatever has upset you. You don't have to think about the longer forgiveness prayer, which we are going to do now, because a lot of times it's not possible. It's not possible to bless the person with this, bless the person with that. And you don't have the patience to spend 5 minutes doing a forgiveness exercise, the longer version, which we're going to discuss next. So at that time, when you're upset, you can just do this. And this can be very, very fast as well. Namaste, 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 namaste. Whichever way, right? Because it helps, it works. Energetically, you are kind of changing the energy being sent out from you, which will change the energy being coming back to you as well. But yeah, this is one thing. So first method of actively doing this exercise. I would highly recommend as an experiment in the next few days, do this with yourself. Forgive yourself, stand in front of the mirror, look into your eyes. Uh, I assure you, it's if you slow this down and look into your eyes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Go through that uncomfortable boundary and see what happens. Experiment. I mean, everybody will have a different experience. Um, you might finally learn what is the color of your eyes and all of that stuff as well, but that's just a side effect. Give it a go. Okay. Second, again, a shortcut. Uh, On I use this personally when I'm upset with somebody and I don't have the patience or the desire to bless the other person because I'm so annoyed, right? So what you do in such cases is tap your heart, tap your crown, imagine the person in front of you. Of course, this is something you cannot probably do in public. Namaste, you can still do in public. Well, at least I can do it in public. An Indian guy standing like this is not something that's going to raise eyebrows. So, but yeah, if you're not able to do this, well, find space. So the trick is, it's you know what we are doing here because you've all done twin hearts meditation. I'm just trying to activate my heart and activate my crown. Why am I doing that? Because if I'm really, really upset and angry, the lower chakras, specifically solar plexus, could be some other chakras as well, are highly activated. What I want to do is get to a balanced state. This activates my heart, which will automatically kind of shrink my solar plexus to some level. And this I'm activating crown. Again, you all been doing twin hearts meditation, so you know. But that's the science of it. You don't need to know that. You don't have to think about it every time you do. All you got to do is, okay, let's say the person you're super, super angry right now, and but you at the same time, fortunately, are aware enough that you know I don't need this in my system. I don't want this to affect me. I want to do something about it right now. What do you do? One, two, imagine the person in front of you and shower them with love. You probably have no love in your system right now because you're so angry. Doesn't matter. Just imagine that the energy of love is going out. If it helps, and it's a very good idea, you can think of pink and gold, two colors going out. We're not going to get into advanced pranic healing as to why those two colors and all of that stuff. But again, let's do this. So imagine, actually, go back to the same person. Let's just forgive the out of them. Okay. Same person, imagine them in front of you. Just focus on the person. Now, concentrate on your heart, concentrate on your crown. If you're not able to do that, tap them quickly. That's it. Energy is coming and you're sending this. That's it. Pink and gold energy going towards them. If you can, think of love going towards them. If you can't, then pink and gold is going towards them. In about a minute or so, when you don't feel the energy, if you did not feel the energy even in the first place because you were so upset, about a minute or so, that's it. Open your eyes. You can do this for as long as you want. I'm generally trying to deal with a situation when you're really upset, when you don't have the desire to do any of that. So I was once listening to this person called Sriram, who teaches Ayurvedic yoga in India and many other countries actually. And I actually learned this from him. And he mentioned in his talk that even when he was super, super upset, he would be like, okay, I don't want you, but I don't want the anger more. So there, take some pink, go. Take some pink, go. And he just, it was almost like throwing the energy. But you're throwing love energy. So you're throwing the good stuff, even though you're not throwing it. You're throwing it, you're not projecting it. But the point is, it still works. All of these exercises, they need experiment, they need time. So theoretically, yes, we can talk about this, but practically try this and see what happens in your relationship with that person over the period of time. Fortunately, this is something I can tell you from personal experience. I've tried this at work. People I wasn't happy with, or people who were not nice to me for whatever reason, and this works like a charm. Somehow, they can be rude or mean to other people, but somehow either you don't get into those positions where you have to experience that, or the person is nice to you but not nice to other person. It's amazing. I had a boss like that, and he was nasty to everybody. I practiced this pink and gold thing with him. After a few weeks, he was very nice to me, still nasty to everybody else. And people like, what are you up to? I'm like, I can teach you, but you won't do it. So, um, and they didn't, because this, I mean, imagine from an outsider's perspective, this just sound a little too much. So hence, this is something we all of us have to experiment with. So please go ahead and experiment. So we have discussed two techniques. Both of them are ones which we can do when A, we don't have time, B, we don't have the desire, and we are really, really hard pressed. Okay. So I take a pause there. Khushbu, you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that I'm not able to, imagine the color. So how to do? Just think that this is the pink color and then just start doing it, right? Or the golden color. Because in meditation also we used to put the golden lights on the earth.
Let me think about it. So we can always tap our chakras and we can go ahead with that. As long as you have the intention, you will be fine. I shouldn't have recorded that. I started too early. Anyways, so that's the second thing, right? But keep this in mind. These are the things which come in really, really handy. The other thing that happens to some of us, if you have a job which is super busy, maybe you're traveling, but you do want to practice it because maybe you have a streak going, right? Or this is something that you have made part of your daily schedule. You don't have time or patience to do something more, you can always do this. We just did two exercises and we spent like 3 minutes in total. And you have to do just one of them actually. So, I mean, this is personally for me, whenever I feel lazy about things, I try to time them because then mentally I can tell them, hey, it's just going to take you 90 seconds to do that, right? Like I know it takes me 7 minutes to unload and reload a dishwasher because whenever I have to do that, that's all I have to tell myself. 7 minutes and you're done. Similarly here, 90 seconds and you're done, right? So if that helps, put yourself in that position and use these techniques, right? And it is a very, very good thing to do that. And I'll repeat myself, any given day when you feel that you want to practice forgiveness, but you genuinely have nobody to forgive, you can go back further in your life, or you can re-forgive the people you need to, or forgive yourself, whichever way. Or don't, don't practice. Trust me, life will give you enough opportunity to practice this in future. So that's always, always there. I hope that answers. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts, observations, comments before we move to the final technique?
The that one he's saying 18 times. Excuse me. Does it have to be
Yes.
18?
Yes. Don't ask me why. I genuinely do
No,
not know.
no, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Because in my when I first heard that, I'm like, why is it not 7? Why is it not 11? Why is it not 12? There's no logical answer that I could find. If anybody gets the answer, just let me know. Yeah. But yeah, it is. And I'll be honest with you, that's not my favorite technique. I I like the blessing pink and gold part of it. I'm able to do that more naturally. Uh, Probably it's a more cultural thing for me because for namaste to me means, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah,
And so it's a different reaction to it. That's all.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Finally, the last one, which is the forgiveness practice that we do every week after the meditation, which is a slightly longer version, but it is a lot more powerful. It is a lot more focused. It's a lot more precise. Um, so we can always practice that. I'm not asking anyone to pick one technique over the other. You have three, pick the one which works for you on a given day. I hope this gives you an idea that no excuses, no need to procrastinate on this thing and suffer for one more day. Because remember, we are doing this for internal inner forgiveness to make sure that we are happy. We'll take care of the other person later, but make sure that we are in the right space. And that is healthy self-interest. It's not selfishness. Uh, that could be one topic to discuss some other time. Uh, but for anybody who's like, oh no, 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 I should first forgive and take care of the other person, make sure he doesn't feel bad, he doesn't this, he doesn't that. Um, I'm not a big supporter of that thing. It's just like as they announce in planes, right? If the oxygen mask comes down, take care of yourself before you take care of the person next to you. I think it kind of works in many areas of life. So, and this is one of them. If you're a happy person, you'll be let's say you'll be better company to everybody around you. So it's a good idea to just go ahead and do the inner forgiveness first before you do something else, right? The other thing was, again, before we doing this, all of these practices is self-awareness. Know yourself, understand, accept that you're upset. Uh, Last time when we talked about forgiveness, we talked about levels of forgiveness and giving yourself time to do that. Go back to that video. I saw that it was there, but we'll cover it at the time as well. These are things which all of us, including myself, we need reminding. Just prepping for this, when I read the pages on forgiveness, I'm reminded that, oh yeah, absolutely, makes sense. Should we do that? Asitra talks a little bit about reincarnation and the effects on your next life, but I'm not going to pick that up. So it's a bit scary, plus not everybody believes in that. Okay, third and final exercise on forgiveness. Typically, we do this after meditation, but we'll do it right now here to finish the whole thing. Okay, imagine, again, same person, be very, very focused this time. You really want this person to stop upsetting you in your inner life. So imagine the same person in front of you. Look into their eyes. Use your words. You can hold the namaste pose, but if it's not comfortable for you, just imagine they're standing in front of you. Look into their eyes. God's blessings be with me, and God's blessings be with you. I forgive you for all the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that you have caused me. I forgive you. I release you. Please forgive me for all the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that I may have caused you. Please forgive me. Please release me. God's blessings be with you. Be in peace. And then imagine the person going away from you into the distance. Then bring back again in front of you. Look into their eyes. We do this exercise 5 times. That's the recommended number for this method. Look into their eyes. God's blessings be with me, and God's blessings be with you. I forgive you for all the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that you have caused me. I forgive you and I release you. Please forgive me. Please release me. Be in peace. Imagine them going away. Third time. God's blessings be with me, and God's blessings be with you. I forgive you for all the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that you have caused me. I forgive you. I release you. Please forgive me for the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that I may have caused you. God's blessings be with you. Imagine them going again, far away into the distance. For the 4th time, bring them forward. Look into their eyes. God's blessings be with me, and God's blessings be with you. I forgive you for all the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that you have caused me. I forgive you. I release you. Please forgive me. Please release me. Be in peace. Imagine them going away into the distance. For the final time, bring them in front of you. Look into their eyes. Namaste. May you be blessed. I forgive you for all the hurt and pain, sorrow, and suffering that you have caused me. I forgive you for the past. Please forgive me for all my mistakes and anything that I may have done to hurt you. We are all children of God. We are all learning. We are all evolving. Evolution involves time and process. May you be blessed with success, happiness, joy, abundance, prosperity. Be in peace. Now imagine them going again into the distance. And this time, let them go. That's it. Open your eyes. So I deliberately changed the words the last time just to make a point that the format is important, the words are not. Words can be yours, and the format is very simple. You bring the person in front of you and you ask for blessings for both. God's blessings be with me and with you. You can do be with you and be with me. I'm not sure if that order makes a difference, but that's the idea. But before you ask for forgiveness, you always practice forgiveness. This now again has two parts of it. You are going to practice, you're going to forgive and ask for forgiveness, which is that you're accepting the fact that in every situation, two parties can be at fault. Not one person is completely right and one person is completely wrong. So this is a practice of humility as well, that I may also have done something wrong. So it is encouraging us to not be hard-headed. Your mistake, your mistake, your mistake, right? It's like a woman takes her husband to the therapist and say, our marriage is not working out. Can you please fix him? And not oblivious of the fact that actually the woman I'm talking about, I think was Michelle Obama. I heard this in one of her interviews. But I think it made a very good point that a lot of times we are so oblivious of our own mistake. It's a blind spot. We don't see this. But when we are practicing forgiveness, we are practicing humility. And hence, we are very, very open that we may have done something wrong. You don't even have to analyze. That's why the words that I use, which are very comfortable with me, is uh, when I'm asking for forgiveness, is please forgive me for hurt and pain that I may have caused you. I'm still not taking 100% responsibility, but it's still some progress, right? And I'm not discounting the fact that I can never be wrong. Uh, I'm sure you just have to speak to my wife for a few minutes and you will get many examples of that. Um, she's listening today. Anyways, where was I? See, now I got a bit scared and a bit worried about what's going to happen next. But point being, the syntax is super important. Number one is accept, is to ask for blessing. Number two, before we ask for forgiveness, we are generating the good karma of being forgiven by practicing forgiveness first. So I'm giving first. Here is my forgiveness to you, right? And that's what we do. So again, use your words, but you give forgiveness first. I know grammatically not the right thing, but it makes the point. So you're giving first. Now you can use any words that come to your mind. If nothing is working, you still want to practice this technique, you're short in time, you don't have the imagination, you don't want to think about it, and you can simply say, I forgive you. And then you can immediately come to, please forgive me. Be in peace. Very simple version of this is look at the person into the eyes. God's blessings be with you and me. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Be in peace. Done. This is one. You got to do this 5 times. Again, you know, the the beauty of being slightly lazy is you keep finding shortcuts. So it works. The thing is, any mental block, oh, I can't do so much, I can't say so many words, doesn't matter. So format, ask for blessings, forgive the other person, then ask for forgiveness. Again, use your words. Whatever word, you can go into detail. I've heard some really long forgiveness prayers. I got bored listening to the forgiveness prayers. I've heard them so long. But people can recall a lot of things, there are a lot of details to it, and it works for them. It gives them peace, right? So it's not about making fun of it. It's just short, long, whatever. You do what works for you, but you can use your own words, right? Own languages. A lot of people, a lot of us don't have English as a first language, and we forget that we can practice this in any language which is comfortable. I mean, when I'm doing it on my own, I may actually use a mix. It works for me, for some of us, emotions are much better in a native language than English. So no problem, use it. Format is important. And you close it by blessing the other person, or not blessing the other person, by asking for blessings. You're not blessing yourself. You don't have to spare your blessings if you're so upset. Just ask. Uh, the big guys can do it better anyways. So we just ask for this. And that's the fun. And you repeat it 5 times. You repeat it 5 times. Why are you thinking of them going away from you? That's creating an energetic distance. Again. So what you do after that is completely up to you. I have heard versions. Okay, can't validate, so forget about it. But that's the format, right? So this is the format that we use every time. This is the format which I would recommend you guys use as well. So again, that's effectively part of our discussion. I genuinely thought today this will be like a 20-minute talk, but it is still again 8 o'clock. So apologies for that. I hope you can forgive me for that. We just have been taught to do that. All right. Any other things and questions? Khushbu, sorry, I was in the middle of something, but I think you had a point. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that the person you are very close with, maybe a friend or family, we always look for a forgiveness from them and we wanted to forgive them. So when we are saying that the person is going away, does it mean that we are letting go from our life, or it just for this, I'm saying just for a few moments or something, like when you are angry or something?
A very good example uh, of thinking a lot. No, don't overthink. No, by doing this, you are not pushing that person out of your life, right? Uh, and you are imagining them going into the light as this is not like, Hollywood movies, they sail into the sunset or something like that. That's not happening. We're simply creating an energy distance from them. And okay, the version which I said I will not reveal because I haven't validated is sometimes you may want to call them back the final time and give them a hug. Right. Not something I have been taught directly, but I have heard of this. So I personally don't practice it. And because in my head, I'm never throwing anybody out of my life. And let's face it, the people you're going to practice forgiveness with, they're going to be part of your families and friends. You don't really, if somebody cut you on the street or something and annoyed you for 2 minutes, that's not even worth your time to practice forgiveness. I'm sure it won't even upset you that much. It's only the people who are close who can create that kind of friction, right? So no, don't worry about it. You're not throwing anybody out of your life. That's a different technique, different class. We'll talk about it sometime. But there is one. Good fun. Okay.
Thank you.
Any, yeah, of course. Anything else comes to anybody's mind worth discussing? Okay. In that case, let's meditate. Please get yourself ready.